On to the next big focus on the briefing room this evening. At just 15, he's not just playing the IPL, he's tearing apart world-class bowlers. In fact, we've seen the Cummins, the Bumrahs, etc. being completely torn apart. From the gullies of Bihar to the biggest stage in T20 cricket, Vaibhav Suryavanshi isn't knocking on the door of greatness. He's smashing it down with every six. 65 sixes and still counting. Records following. Bowlers stunned and the cricket world asking just one question. Is India witnessing the rise of its next little master? The baby boss of Indian cricket, as he's being called, has arrived, and it's a teenage sensation discovered by Rajasthan, now turning into the biggest talking point of the IPL. From fearless hitting to a strike rate that defies belief, Vaibhav has left even the biggest names in world cricket mesmerized. So is it already time for an India T20 call-up? And what's the secret behind Rajasthan's incredible Vaibhav discovery? This is the story of the wonder boy who may just be cricket's next superstar. 15-year-olds and already playing knocks most cricketers only dream of. Vaibhav didn't just bat in the IPL Eliminator versus SRH, he completely detonated it. 97 runs of just 29 balls. A strike rate of 334 and a boundary hitting masterclass that has left the cricket world stunned. Out of those 97 runs, 92 came purely in boundaries. And that's not just batting, that's absolute destruction. 12 massive sixes, the second highest ever in an IPL innings. Records tumbling there with bowlers running out of answers and the stadium watching a teenager turn an eliminator into his personal highlight reel. From Bihar to the biggest T20 stage, in fact, the wonder boy called Vaibhav completely rewriting IPL history with every swing of the bat. Now let's just tell you about some of the astonishing statistics achieved by Vaibhav, in fact, in just his second IPL season. This is what we're talking about. He has the most runs by an uncapped player at 680. He also has the best strike rate with 600 plus runs. And of course, that is 243. We've also seen most sixes in a single IPL season. That is 65 sixes. Most sixes in a playoff game. That is 12. Most sixes in a 6-over power play, which is 8. Now, this is, of course, after the eliminator of SRH versus Rajasthan Royals. So these are just some of the records he's set. In fact, many of these records, and some of those records were set by Chris Gayle and have been broken after a record 14 years. Let's take a deep dive and give you some of the other stats of Vaibhav Suryavanshi in detail. Now, when it comes to IPL 2026, these are some of the statistics. Let's quickly get that up on the screen. He's played 15 innings. Of course, let's quickly get it on this screen as well. In fact, this is the number of innings that he has played. And let's quickly get that up on the screen as well. The total number of innings is at 15 innings played. This is, of course, what we are seeing as far as the IPL 2026 is concerned. And the records that he set over here. Just take a look at some of these records. Runs scored is 680. Huge number of runs by any yardstick. Let's also look at the number of balls that he has faced. 280 balls. So 280 balls that Vaibhav Suryavanshi has in fact faced in these innings. What is the batting average? The average is somewhere close to 45. To be more specific, it is 45.33. That is his batting average. What are we talking about in terms of the strike rate? His strike rate is a whopping 243. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen? That's the kind of strike rate that we're talking about as far as IPL is concerned, which is, of course, the most competitive of all the T20 matches and formats that we're looking at. 243 is the strike rate over here. What number of hundreds? He has 100, 1 century that he has. Number of 50s that we're looking at is 4. 4 50s that he's been able to hit within this particular period. And the total sixes hit was 65, total fours hit were 55, and the boundary percentage is a whopping 89% of boundaries that have been hit by this young man, this teenager, and the sensation of Indian cricket, Vaibhav Suryavanshi. These are some of the statistics that we're looking at. His matches played are 7, total runs scored of 439, hundreds, of course, of 1, 50s, sixes as 30, highest score 175 in just 80 balls, the highest runs scored in any ICC white ball tournament. Final strike rate of 169 and batting average of 63. This clearly, of course, is what we're talking about when it comes to Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Let's also look at what sets him apart from several of his peers and other competitors when it comes to his batting. We're looking specifically about the fact that he has a very calm head over his strong shoulders. He builds strong personalities. In the case of Vaibhav, of course, the destruction with his bat has been met with a measured response, unheard of for a 15-year-old. This is what he said after getting the Player of the Match award in the Eliminator, where he scored that 97. He has specifically said that I rely on positive intent and move on. I stay in the present and don't overthink. Centuries will be scored. It's the win that matters. Can you imagine this is coming from a teenager? This kind of mental clarity perhaps you won't get from many of the sort of experienced and seasoned players. Focus remains on winning the trophies as well, is what he has said. I focus on my game and play normal cricket. Can you imagine that this is a 15-year-old talking? Why is the world, however, talking so proudly about the boy from Bihar? It's because he broke Chris Gale's decade-old record for hitting the maximum sixes in a single IPL season. Let's give you that statistic as well. Most sixes in an IPL season that we're talking about, just look at the numbers over the years. It was maximum numbers where Vaibhav Suryavanshi had 65. Then comes the 2012 record, 14-year-old record, as I was mentioning earlier, of Chris Gale, 59. Andre Russell at 52 in 2019, 51 again Chris Gale in 2013, 45 in 2022, Josh Butler. So that's the kind of league that Vaibhav Suryavanshi has hurtled himself to, and why people are looking at him as the next little master. The question that most have been asking, how did Rajasthan Royals unearth this gem from Bihar? Let's tell you about that as well. Now, it was in 2022-23 that we saw Akshay Karanje, who was part of RR, that's Rajasthan Royals scouting coordinator, who tracked, and in fact, he went ahead and spoke about the tireless performances in domestic cricket as well. And this is, of course, how he was unearthed. In October 2025, Vaibhav was invited early to high-performance trials as well. And that's why, of course, his skills were further honed. In October 2024, excelled during intense simulation match camps as well. In November 2024, acquired during the player auction room for just 1.1 crore rupees. Of course, they were willing to spend a whole lot more, is also what we are told. But this is what we are told at this point of time in terms of how his acquisition happened. Let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guests with us. With us at this point of time is Samar Kadri, who's member of RR scouting team. We also have Manish Ojha, Vaibhav Suryavanshi's coach, who's joining us from Patna. Vedam Jaishankar, sports journalist, also joins us. Samar Kadri, take us through how Vaibhav was really spotted, how difficult a process was it, and how quickly did the Rajasthan Royal team know the kind of talent that they had in hand?
सर, जब वैभव को मैंने पहली बार देखा था तब मैं एक मैच खेल रहा था. I've heard a lot about him. He scored tons and tons of runs. तो फिर मैंने उसे बॉल डाली, फिर देखा कि ये तो बच्चा था, उस वक्त 12-13 साल का था. He was hitting me like anything. और मैंने कभी ऐसा शॉट्स किसी को मारते देखा ही नहीं था. तो उसके बाद मैंने कुछ दिनों बाद फिर जुबीन सर को कॉल किया था कि सर आप इस लड़के को देख सकते हो, he is playing under 19, he'll do wonders for RR. That's what's the story about.
That's how you managed to get him. But let me quickly bring in Vedam as well. Vedam, you know, this is the kind of talent that we see perhaps once in a generation. The closest that, and it's perhaps it's unfair, perhaps it's accurate, I don't know, but that he's being compared to Sachin Tendulkar and his rise, because the commonalities are so many. First emerging in the spotlight when you were 14 years old, and then smashing through, breaking records right from the age of 15. The similarities couldn't be more. Or do you think that this is an unfair comparison and it's going to put too much pressure on him?
No, Madhav, I've got a different view on this. See, we've been hearing of this boy from the last 4 or 5 years, but we never took it seriously. I don't think anybody took it seriously. Because he comes from Bihar, and the place where he comes from is close to the border with Nepal. And what sort of bowling would he have faced? What sort of coaching would he have had? So nobody took it seriously. Yeah, he's doing well for a 10-year-old or 9-year-old or whatever. Yeah, maybe with the boys doing well. Nobody took him seriously. But I want to add another factor. Had he been in Mumbai or had he been in Bengaluru, you would not have got a Vaibhav Suryavanshi because the coaching would have wrecked him. They had to put him against a swinging ball, against a spinning ball. The entire coaching attitude itself in these big states or big cities are different. You will not get a Vaibhav Suryavanshi who is virtually unfettered. And, Malcolm Gladwell wrote a beautiful book on Blink, the power of thinking without thinking, that slice theory. And this is exactly what he meant. You play, you don't think, you react. And this youngster has not had that 10,000 hours to perfect his skill. But whatever skill he has perfected is amazing because his is a God-given talent. And luckily, didn't have the coaches of Bengaluru or Mumbai or one of these big cities to wreck his career. And I believe somebody like Suryavanshi could have come only from this hinterland. He could not have come from the big cities. And for that, we should be very, very thankful. We are scared what the big cities will do to him. But otherwise, this guy is a God-given gift and he's outstanding. I don't think there's another cricketer.
Let me bring in Manish Oja. He's been Vaibhav's coach. Manish Oja ji, आपने जब वैभव को पहली बार देखा, did you also think that he's going to go on to do great things like this? और एक important बात कही वेदम जयशंकर ने कि अगर बड़े टीमों में होते और वहां की जो कोचिंग स्ट्रेटेजीज है तो शायद पूरी तरह से ये अपने टैलेंट को नहीं दिखा पाते। क्या आप मानते हैं कि आजकल के जो नए कोचिंग प्रोसीजर्स है वो भी बहुत प्रोसेस ड्रिवन हो गए हैं, जो एक रॉ टैलेंट जैसे वैभव का टैलेंट है उसको ठीक तरह से हैंडल कर पाना या नहीं कर पाते, जैसे फियर्स वेदम जयशंकर हमारे साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं? आप क्या मानते हैं मनीष जी?
देखिए, पहला प्रश्न आपने पूछा कि वैभव को पहली बार देखा था तो क्या फीलिंग हुआ था। तो अर्ली स्टेज में तो ऐसा कुछ फीलिंग नहीं आया था, बट ग्रेजुअली जैसे उन्होंने मेरे साथ प्रैक्टिस स्टार्ट किया और लंबे समय तक उनका साथ रहा मेरे साथ, तो 2-2.5 साल के बाद ये आइडिया लगने लगा था कि वैभव जिस लहजे में बैटिंग कर रहे हैं आने वाले समय में वो एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन क्रिकेट खेलेंगे। और इनिशियल स्टेज से उनका चाहे वो इंटेंट हो, उनका स्ट्रोक एग्जीक्यूशन की एबिलिटी हो, उनका जो आत्मविश्वास, ये सारी चीज़ें उनमें बाकियों से अलग थी और अपने कॉन्टेम्पररी एज के बच्चों से तो वे अहेड थे, राइट फ्रॉम वेरी अर्ली स्टेज। और सेकंड क्वेश्चन आपने क्या बोला था?
बड़ी टीम्स में आजकल की मॉडर्न कोचिंग जो बिग टीम्स में बिग सिटीज में होती है उसमें जो वैभव का जो रॉ टैलेंट है उभर के सामने आता कि नहीं आता, ये बहुत बड़ा सवाल है। वेदम कह रहे हैं कि शायद नहीं आ पाता।
नहीं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। अभी बीसीसीआई एनसीए के थ्रू कोचिंग कोर्सेज कराते हैं वहां पे, और हम सभी फॉर्मर रणजी ट्रॉफी प्लेयर्स या जो भी उसके लिए एलिजिबल कैंडिडेट्स हैं वहां जाते हैं और डिफरेंट लेवल्स के कोचिंग कोर्सेज करते हैं, जैसे लेवल 1, लेवल 2, लेवल 3। तो ये कोर्सेज बहुत आपको हेल्प करते हैं बच्चों को नर्चर करने में, उनको प्रॉपर गाइडलाइंस देने में। वो टेक्निकल टर्म्स में भी होता है, उनके मेंटल टर्म्स में भी होता है, मेंटल प्रिपरेशन के टर्म्स में मैं बोल रहा हूँ। और मैच में जैसे बच्चे कैसे अपने को हैंडल करिए, सारी चीज उस कोर्स में कवर होते हैं। तो अब ऐसा नहीं रह गया है कि बिग टाउन में ही सिर्फ कोचिंग के आपको अच्छे कोचेज मिलेंगे। बीसीसीआई का ये जो कोचिंग कोर्सेज है वो आज के डेट में भारत के हर एक कोना में आपको अच्छे कोचेज अवेलेबल हैं।
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, बट जो आपने कहा किस तरह से कंडक्ट करना चाहिए, बट आई एम अमेज्ड एट द काइंड ऑफ स्टेटमेंट दैट ही हैज मेड। समर कादरी, he says when he hits a 91 in 97, I beg your pardon, in 29 balls, he actually has the maturity to say I was chasing runs and not a century. Centuries तो बाद में भी आएंगे. He sounds like a veteran cricketer. Where does he get this mental fitness from?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, certainly. Because इतने मैचेस इसने खेले हैं, शुरू से ही खेलते आए हैं, तो इसे आइडिया है 100 बनाने का, और बिग डैडी 100s बनाते थे। तो इसलिए इसे ये जो भी है वो टीम के लिए ही खेलता है हमेशा। कभी मैंने उसे देखा ही नहीं है कि वो अचीवमेंट्स के लिए जाए या किसी चीज के लिए, कि वो टीम जिताने के लिए, और वो इसी एम से जाता है कि मैच जिताना है टीम को मुझे। बस यही है इनका।
But
मुझे यही अच्छा लगता है, इसका मेंटल फिटनेस इसी वजह से है, क्योंकि लंबे 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 ये खेलता है इनिंग्स, इसीलिए.
Absolutely. In fact, we remember the multiple centuries that he's hit, which first brought him into the highlight. But Vedam, I'd like to ask you, along with bouquets, there have to be brick bats, of course. That's just how the real world works, particularly social media. There are some who have perhaps rather uncharitably called him a flat track bully. They're saying take him out of Asian conditions, you know, the kind of swing that he would perhaps have to face in Australia or in Lords. Will he be able to survive those conditions? Many social media users and others have come out to question. Do you think that's fair criticism? Or is that just, sour grapes?
See, Madhav, is exactly what I said. 9 out of 10 of these guys will be from the big cities because they are straight-jacketed in their thinking. They can do only that. You know, if he was in Bangalore or let's say Mumbai, you know, they would first put somebody who can swing the ball at him. I think there was one of the early matches 2 years ago when Kaushik got him in both innings. And, you know, Kaushik was an outstanding medium pacer for Karnataka. He was not quick, he was slow-medium. But he used to bowl like a pro, move the ball, you know. So that's what they'll do. Yes, he can't play the moving ball. He can't play the bouncing ball. All sorts of things would happen. But we have seen the guy going across to England, playing well for emerging Indian stars, playing well in Australia. And let's not forget that this same Jurel was his captain. And when they had to do that play out, that 1 over when they had to hit out, he didn't send him opening. Jurel came with Ramandeep and India were 0 all out, you know, because the same Jurel didn't have confidence in him at that time. But things have changed because you are trying to force fit what you have already thought and trying to force fit it into a youngster who is actually like I said, Cladwell's the power of thinking without thinking. It's coming so natural. The way, say, he is middling the ball. He's not edging the ball. And if you really look at cricket, when he's batting with Jaiswal, you want Jaiswal to take a single and go away. You want to see this guy batting because we have all undergone a little bit of cricket coaching. We've done a little bit of cricket coaching also. But when we are undergoing coaching, and like most of the people in the big cities, you hit the ball in the air, the coach will stop you from batting. First time you do it, he'll warn you. Second time he'll say, I've seen enough of your batting. I don't want to see this. But look at this guy. It doesn't matter whether it's the first ball or the last ball, who is bowling, everything. And he's playing all around the wicket. That is why I keep saying that such a talent could have only come from outside the big cities.
All right. Vedam Jashankar, as well as Samar Kadri, as well as Manish Ojha, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us and bringing us those insights. Certainly, of course, boy wonder, whether you call him Little Master, Master Blaster, whatever it may be, certainly a lot of hopes riding on Vaibhav Suryavanshi, and we certainly hope that his natural, unfettered game and his mental fitness continues. Thanks so much for joining us this evening, and with that, it's a wrap on the briefing room this evening. Thanks so much for joining us this evening, and do join us again tomorrow 10 p.m. for another edition.